I'm all right. We're on live.
Oh, fantastic. Cool.
Just on time. Hey, what's going on? It's KLA Cloud the Wanderer about to give it to you once again. I have a guest, uh, the creator of Old Kingdom Come,
That's
and
right.
yeah, and he's gonna tell how he got started doing this project. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I was browsing through Instagram and I stumbled across your work. I mean, like and what mesmerized me was like the artwork of it, you know.
Yeah.
Like what are did you are you a writer or are you an artist?
Oh, writer. I can't even draw a straight line, bro. Can't even draw a straight line. I'm bad, and I've accepted that. So, yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
writer. The artists are two incredible guys. Clovis Batobola. He's from Brazil. He's in favela. He actually sought me out because I had done some concept art for it, and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for an artist," and he's like, "Please, I need to work on this project." And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I don't these you artists. I don't know if you
Yeah.
got what I want." And I gave him like a test concept to do, and he blew me away. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So that was that for him for the line work, and then for the colorist, I put another post out. I actually saw somebody's art, and I was like, it's not exactly what I want, but maybe I can just make some suggestions. And boom,
Yeah.
that was it. It was those two guys. His name, the colorist's name is Adesida Onome. Amazing. They're like
Run that
a
by me
crazy
again, his
duo.
name?
What was that?
What's his no, his name. You did you say his name?
Yeah, it's Nigerians. Adesida Onome.
Oh, wow. My
Yeah, they're
last
both.
name is Mubah.
You said what?
No, my last name is Lupa, and people can't even get that.
Lupa.
No, Nuba, like pretend it's like it's NugbA, but like the
Oh,
simple way of
Nuba.
the pronunciation.
Nuba.
Yeah, Nuba.
Oh, you're Nigerian.
Yeah, I'm half Liberian.
Oh
My
shit.
folks are
Okay,
from
Nuba.
Liberia.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Okay, I've never been. I've
yeah,
heard of Liberia. My sister was there for some time.
yeah.
But I've been wanting to go there. You ever been there?
No, I never been
Oh man,
there.
I gotta go out there. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to tell me what to eat and everything.
I don't know right now because I think from what I understand, what I know, like situations are really bad there. Like there's no clinics, like there's no medicine. I mean, like
Damn.
they're available. Yeah, because my mother, she got peoples there, and and I be hearing it. She be saying it and stuff, and I just be listening to it. So
That's crazy. Man. Gotta get their stuff together over
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. But enough for that, man. I mean, yeah, like how did you come up with this? Like it's wow, it seemed very interesting. I'm sorry I ain't read the book or nothing, but I seen the illustration.
Yeah.
It just was like wow, that it's amazing. Like I got
Yeah.
pictures I can show.
Yeah. 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 Dope. Dope. That was a collaborative cover with Peta Comics. That's another guy that does amazing work. And they were like, "Yo,
yeah,
we have to collab. We have to collab on something." So he made a cover from his studio. So they do amazing work too. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I was writing I have a bunch of stories in my phone that's probably never gonna get made. Um, but we were shooting a short film um for like an intimate like drama, and it was called Fatherhood. So when we were shooting it and getting ready with you got to look up executive producers and stuff like that. They read the script for it and they're like, "Wow, your writing's pretty good. Are you working on anything else?" So I was like, "Oh shit, this is my shot. Let me let me shoot my shot. Let me slide one of my bigger projects in." And I'm like, "Yeah, hey, I got this, this ancient kingdom fighting for control African story that I'd love for you to check a look at." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And they took a look at it and like, "Oh, this is big. this is this is a big budget kind of thing, something like that. You want a following, so like, have you thought of making a book or something to build up a following before, a show or a movie? And I was like, a book, like, I guess I could try a book. So I'm trying to write a book on this, and I'm like, man, how am I supposed to describe? How do you describe culture to like people that don't haven't experienced it before? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can try, but like clothing and like fabrics and like patterns and shit, I'm gonna be explaining shit for forever. Even the crown, I'd be explaining forever. So I'm like, nah, let's go graphic novel. After I decided to go graphic novel, I sought out some artists, and there was history after that because I already wrote it like a script, so I could give them my pages, and like, oh wow, this has angles already, it has panels, like they love it that it's already so detailed. So it was really easy to knock out because of the format I already wrote it in. So yeah, that was it. I had to I got it out. I did a couple Kickstarters. And I started, I'm like, how good is this? Because sometimes you get in your own head. I'm like, is this good or am I like tripping? I got it reviewed by some people, and I'm like, all right, so we cooking, so we got something. So that's it. Oh, Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I kind of seen like some of the like even the reels. Like it was one guy, he was explaining, he was reading it, and he's like, he was like, I think I think what I'm trying to only word I could think of, like he was mesmerized by reading it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a crazy period. Like, so everybody loves Egypt and stuff like that. So this is in Egypt. So this is before Egypt. Because I don't really care about pyramids and all that, but the Nile is interesting because the Nile runs from south north. So like a lot of weird stuff happens when you got a river that's running backwards. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that like, and I don't know how much your mom's from Liberia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much she tells you about like spiritual nature of stuff like that. I don't know how much she's gone into it, but
she never went that deep.
Not that deep. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff on the continent.
Yeah.
And I think it's stuff that people haven't experienced before. And if you can try and explain it in a way that you kind of take them by the hand, you can get people hooked on a whole other mythology. So that's what I was aiming to do, or that's what I'm aiming to do with this project.
Like but what could you tell me like what's it about? Like
Of course.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. So the Nubian Empire is the earliest monarchy in history. Like, no debate, argue with your grandma, whatever. It's the earliest. When archaeologists have gone out there, the stuff they found is the oldest. It's the earliest monarchy. So when I say monarchy, I mean like the idea of a king and a queen. It's the earliest version of it. It's the Nubian Empire. Not something discussed in school. No one tells you about it. You had no idea. But it's the earliest empire. So everyone, like the Mongols, Europe, Egypt, all that stuff, they came after it. So they were influenced by what an empire should look like by these people. So the idea is that what happened to this great empire that, they were cooking, like they were on top of the world and they just like that gone. So there's a lot of, it's thousands of years ago. So all historians have different theories of what it could have happened. So that's what I got to play with. So it's about the fall of the Nubian Empire. It's about the infighting, ego. I want this. I'm the king now. I want that shit. So that over time, that weakens your framing and leaves you open to attacks from the outside. So it's like it's a thriller about the fall of the Nubian Empire for the most part.
Okay. What if I could ask like what inspired you to just like come up with like make it like you said first you was gonna make it into a novel if
Yeah, I'd written it so I got a bunch of stories on my phone, and I'd written basically like a kingdom struggle for power kind of story. I'd written like one like that, and like I'm researching because I want to like use real stuff. I want like, oh man, what if their spears were gold? like like because gold we find it like now it's like that's a scarce mineral. That's your you've got a gold chain on, you're rich, stuff like that. So what if these people's spears were gold and they didn't really think of gold as something that's valuable? And as I was doing research to pull from people's history, I found out that the Nubians, their spears were gold, the arrows were gold. I'm like, bro, let me just Nubians, all right, make it a historical fiction and just ground it as Nubians. Like, let's just ground it. Everybody already knows what that is when you say it, instead of me making up a kingdom. So let me ground it. And I was writing, and a lot of the things were so similar without even me doing the research. I'm like, damn, how did this happen? So I started researching with like Runoko Rashidi. He's passed away now, but he's a researcher. Kabame, and I read up on some history from like Ben Henry Clark and stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I was writing that I was thinking was fiction was like existed with this kingdom. So I was like, that's crazy. Like, it's like somebody else wrote the shit. Huh?
How would you know where to look? That's the crazy.
I had no idea. I was like looking up, old monarchies in Africa and, legends on the Nile, stuff like that. And it just kept filling up. And it's so that stuff is fascinating. So it just made for like, the Nubians were the best archers in the world. Like they were nice with an arrow. So, I wrote that all into the story, so it made sense. That was what inspired. I was writing a kingdom story already, and in my research, I stumbled upon the Nubians, and I used that just to ground it to reality.
Okay. Yeah, let me show some pictures, more on pictures,
Yeah, man.
man.
Yeah, that's from a
Nice.
Glyph Award. We won the Glyph Award last year for best artist.
Yeah. Wow. So and you say a Brazilian guy
Yeah. So
too?
yeah, and it's funny because like I really wanted to get an art. Like I went with some concept art, and everyone looked like a superhero. They have like it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But like the superhero look is not what I was going for.
Right.
So this guy has more of a Frank Vanzetta, Conan the Barbarian kind of style. I was looking for something
Yeah.
like medieval. So so it was perfect because in Brazil they got a huge Yoruba population there. So a lot of the African stuff I'm describing to him, he's like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I know that. I'm like, bro, this is perfect. Like, what?
Oh yeah.
This is
Yeah.
amazing. Like, where'd you're an angel? I didn't have to like explain because sometimes I can't even find words for stuff. And he already got what I was saying. Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, because
there's
there's Africans in there.
you said what?
Africans that no, I said there's Africans that, migrated in there. Well, not migrated, but
Heavy,
they were slaves,
straight up.
there
Yeah,
for,
and
generations.
it's crazy. They practice a Yoruba religion called Ifa. They practice it there in Brazil.
Mm.
Like heavy. They
I
practice
don't
that.
even
Like
know what that is. What is that? Like,
Ifa. It's a spiritual. It's like a traditional spiritual. It's like about like man. The main like the core of those traditional religions is about balance. So you got your ancestors or the gods, and then they like do like they pray and they have these jars that like have seashells in it, and it's basically trying to what's the word I'm looking at? Like try and tell the future, like a fortune teller a bit. So
okay.
outside of that, it's nothing really crazy. It's just balance and like morality and stuff like that. It's just all those mythologies, all those traditional religions. It's mostly about balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
man.
old are you? Like, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh, I'm 34.
24. Years ago, like, they had this movie called Shaka Zulu. I don't know if
I've heard about that. Yeah, I haven't
yeah,
watched it.
yeah,
I've watched it. Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
They can't.
Yeah. That's a good one. It's a good movie. I was having the book viewed at. I don't know if you're familiar with the Black Comic Lords, and I did an interview with Paul. He's amazing, Paul.
Yeah.
And he was saying that this book is Shaka Zulu meets Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. So yeah, I've seen Chocolate. Chocolate is dope. I love Chocolate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm looking at it. I'm like, so you never so would you say this is like your first project or that you wrote?
Yeah, I right before this, I was shooting a short film, so like I slid right into this right after. So this is my first graphic novel. Yeah, this is
Oh
definitely my
wow. So you like so you're mostly you done filmmaking really like with short
just
films.
one, no, nothing crazy. I mean, so I wanted. I've been writing for a minute, so I've been writing for since I was like maybe 10 or something. So even when we did the short film, it was like I've been doing it for a while. The way we set it up, so though it's my first, it's like it'll feel like I'm a little more seasoned doing it because I've been practicing for so long. Um, but it's definitely my first, but it doesn't read like a first. When somebody that was actually somebody else, his name was what was his name? It was from Brutal Planet. His name's Dre, I think. He wrote a book called Trouble, and he was interviewing me, and he was asking like when he read the book, he was like, "How old is this guy?" Because he thought I was like some old man that wrote the book. But
Yeah.
that's just the style. That's just the style I'm used to writing. So it's good. It's really refined. It's polished. So you don't have to worry. It's not like a novice book. It's really polished book.
Who would you say like your inspiration like in writing like
In writing, boy, um, that's a good one. You know what? Writing style. Oh, man, one person I'd have to pick. Probably Alex Garland. Um, his stuff's complex. So he did shoot, come on. He did Devs. That's a really niche show. I don't know if you've seen it. He did Devs. He did he wrote Prisoner. No, he didn't write Prisoners. He wrote um Alex Garland. I'm trying to see which one he wrote. Alex Garland. It was something popular. Ex Machina.
Ex Machina? I don't even
Ex
know what
Machina is the one where the robot girl gets away. Hold on. Alex Garland. I'm gonna find something.
Alex Garland sound familiar. He's a sci-fi writer, right?
He's a sci-fi writer, yeah, and he's doing the
Yeah.
Civil War movie coming out.
The
You
what?
might have seen that. Um, Ex Machina, Annihilation. 28 Days Later.
Oh, the zombie movie?
Yep, the first one, the 28
Oh,
Days one.
oh, okay, wow. All right.
That was a good one. And then I haven't seen Sunshine. He wrote Sunshine. But storytelling wise, I like Nolan. I like Nolan a lot more. Um,
Mm.
I like Coogler. I'm not that his Coogler stuff's really intimate, and I haven't done anything that intimate before. Like there's a lot of relationships and stuff. Um, but I like Coogler. I like Coogler. I like Alex Garland, and I like Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, at first, it kind of like reminded me about like African mythology or something. Because I see the horses, on the
Yeah,
clouds and all that
yeah.
stuff. It's amazing. Like,
I appreciate that. Yeah, we wanted it to be like something you never seen. That's
yeah,
what we were.
yeah,
That's what we are running for. We're like, man, let's do something that they've never seen, like at all.
yeah. So it's like African mythology is in this, like
Absolutely,
movie.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah. It's African mythology. Like, they always talk to people. I'm like, man, you know that the spear is the superior weapon to the sword, right? They just
Mm,
fooled us into thinking this because they weren't good. They weren't good with the spear, so they just fooled us into thinking the sword is superior weapon. So I want to like go back to that, like
mm,
that aspect of things that like you rethink like wait a minute, why do we do things like this, like why did things change the way they change? So it's like a rediscovery is what I'm really excited about.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like who's like the main character of this?
the main character is probably Hadaya. Hadaya was the one that was reaching out. That's another one that's probably he'll be more of the main character in book two. But this guy here is Mawu. So Mawu is albino.
Okay.
Um, and he was he's like a prisoner. He was captured by them. And he's trying to like earn his spot. So like to seem like he's valuable, so they don't just like kill him off or something. So he's like he's got some hidden mythology that's following him too. And he's like, I think it'd be a cool character. I was like, man, how many cool albino characters do you know, man? Come on,
Yeah, I ain't. That's wild with the albino. Yeah, that's.
got powder in
Uh,
there.
I
So
mean, they do got like albinos. Correct me if I'm wrong. In Africa, right? Like,
yeah, they got albinos. There's like this stigma that they're like magical, depending on where you are, depending on what state you are. Um, I was in talks with because we have like a motion comic where we do like the voice actors. I'm in talks with one of a South African albino actor. I'm trying to get him to come on board and voice Mawu for me. But yeah, they have like there's like an awareness about it that they used to think they're magical or something. They've kind of gone. It's like an old school kind of thinking. But yeah, there's like this stereotype that they're magical, like kind of like leprechauns or something.
yeah,
Over there. Yeah.
do you read a lot of African mythologies or?
I am now. When I was writing it, I read like more folk tale stuff that was passed down.
Yeah,
But other books about mythology, I didn't read. I didn't want it to. I didn't want to borrow anything. So um, now I'm gonna start reading. I'm done writing, so I'm gonna start reading more mythology books.
yeah. I have like for the past like months, like I've been kind of interviewing like creators of comic books and stuff like that, and a lot of
Nice.
them they kind of like black us.
Yeah.
They've read, like African. They got their inspiration from African mythologies and
Yeah.
stuff. It was like one dude, like he made like a girl that eats demons and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Newton,
yeah,
Keisha.
yeah,
That's a good book.
yeah,
That's a good book.
yeah, yeah. And I'm sorry, I ain't read these books, man. I got, but I
That's a good
just
book.
see it,
Yeah, you gotta look. You gotta
yeah,
look. I gotta make you a list. Yeah, Keisha's a good book. So
yeah,
the thing with it's great. I love it. So and this is where things are about to get controversial. My biggest fear with that, especially people, because I'm from Nigeria, so I kind of know what's like real. So what happens is like if you do like a Wikipedia or like a Google search about African gods, it's typically incorrect for the most part. It's wrong. So my concern, and I always try to be vocal about it without feeling like I'm tearing people down, is that if they can't, especially now with the internet, try and
yeah,
talk to somebody from there. You know what I'm saying? Just to get like assurance instead of just a Wikipedia page, because most of the stuff is wrong. And since it's wrong, what I do with Okinum Come is that it's popping here and in Africa. So like Africans get it because it's their shit. So when we like use Wikipedia or Google or whatever, and it's incorrect, you kind of alienate the people from the continent because it's like, oh, that's wrong, and they throw the book away. You feel me? So that's something I always like try to push for. Like, man, talk to somebody. I'll see posts online like, oh, I'm making an Orisha book. I'm like, talk to somebody, bro. There's Africans all up and down this group. Just hey, just put it out there. I know it's like there's a little bit of friction in doing that, but it'll make for a better product, man. Because a lot of the stuff they just kind of laugh at it when it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
oh, really?
so that's like the only. I always tell people talk to somebody, man. There's Peta Comics. Peta Comics. He's an African comic maker. He knows mad shit. Go just tag him. He'll tell you. So
Mm.
that's something I'm always pushing for creators. If you want to make anything African mythology, just try and talk to somebody. Wikipedia and Google will not do you justice. I assure you, they will not do you
Yeah,
justice. So and it'll be cool because if Africans dig what you're doing, they're gonna carry your stuff like crazy. Because I didn't even know I've seen myself all up and down in Africa. I'm like, I didn't even put my book there. I don't know how I got over there. So,
Mm.
but they don't want to be spectators in their culture. They want to be part of it. So that's how you make sure. You make sure that just check with somebody. Just check with somebody and make sure it's correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you was brought up here, like
Yeah, I
in
was born in Miami. I was born in Miami, and then when I was like about 10, because my dad was opening like a theme park in Nigeria, so he was back and forth a lot. And he was in Nigeria for a long time. So when I was around 10, my mom like, man, that boy is wild. That boy, ship him off. That boy is wild. So when I was 10, I moved to Nigeria. I did my elementary, middle school, high school, and that was it. And I came back to college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause I was about to say, wow, he got like a American accent, like
yeah, yeah. You know what's funny? Like, cause you won't. Where would you can't place my accent to a state. So like, I'll be here and they'll be like, what state like do you sound like? But
I don't know,
when
like
I'm in Nigeria,
that's a good question. That's a good question.
cause I
I
don't
mean,
sound.
like,
I was gonna say I was listening to your show and I'm like, oh, he's from New York. Like you sound like you're from New York. Are you from New
yeah,
York?
I'm from New York.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from
You sound like you're
Brooklyn.
from New York.
Yeah, yeah, I'm from
So
Brooklyn.
you're from Brooklyn, bet. That's what my sister was in Brooklyn for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have like a state because I don't know why. I don't know why. I can't place where I sound like. So
I
but
don't
same thing
know.
when I'm there, they'll
But
be
you
like,
don't
you're not
sound
from
like
here.
Nigerian. I wouldn't think that you was Nigerian because at first, when I reached you, I was like, I don't know, are they from Africa or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because the stuff what I was seeing, it was wow, it was cool. I was interviewing a brother, a Nigerian brother, in like not too long ago, and he do
Yeah.
animations and stuff
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. I saw that one.
Yeah, yeah, and he there's certain things I was kind of impressed because he had that like that perseverance of just doing that like
Yeah,
After
yeah,
Effects,
yeah.
because After Effects you
Wow.
gotta you can't, it's not easy like
Nah,
learning it.
man. That shit is
And
heavy.
yeah, and I took a class in that shit, and it was like it was the whole day, and my mind was like frustrated, like
Heavy.
because I'm taking all this information. And
Mm-hmm.
so he's saying this. He's like, I didn't just learn it in one day. It just took me time because there was one point I gave up and I like just wanted to do it, and then I got it. Then I'm like, how you get this? It's
Bro,
like, wow,
driven. Them folks is
yeah,
driven over there. They driven. It's like
yeah,
New York. It's like New York,
yeah,
and the whole country's New York. Cause like
yeah.
everyone's so driven, and people always like. There's always stuff. I don't know if you ever pay attention to African gossip. People hate Nigeria. They say they're so arrogant.
Well,
They so
that well,
arrogant.
well, that and well, I don't know, arrogant, but I think it's condescending, and they steal a lot. They
They say,
con
oh
they
yeah, yeah, bro.
condescend.
And I'll tell you what it is, man. It's just the driven thing plus the density. It's the most
Yeah,
populated country on the continent. It's the most populated place of black people in the
right.
world. In the
Yeah,
world. And the next closest isn't even half. You feel me? Like, so you got all these driven people in this concentrated place. Yeah, man. Some of them are gonna steal. Some of them are gonna scam.
right.
They're driven. They ain't trying to starve. Like it's just like drive all day. They're driven people, man. Like look at all the artists, amazing. The colorists, like they're all just so driven, like driven, driven, driven. So that I get it. What you're saying about the like perseverance, they are driven. The power isn't stable, but they'll still get that work done.
Right.
Driven people. They're driven. They're driven, man. They're really driven people.
So how you get connected with this colorist?
Oh man. So him. I made a post about him. I made a post. Um, and yeah, he and yeah, man, you don't even know what's gonna happen in book. Look at that. Look at that. It's crazy. Book
Yeah,
two,
like
bro. I've slowed down on like we've been working, but like I wasn't gonna release book two till I was like fully fulfilled with what I did with book one. Because book two, they went off. Him and Clovis, they went off on book.
Hello? Oh, I'm gonna show the pictures.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. So that's Renoka. I don't know if you know Renoka Rashidi. That's the historian that I was reaching out to, uh, and I want to do a homage to.
You cutting off.
Oh, I'm cutting off. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you now. I hear
Uh,
you now.
yeah, so I wanted to do a homage to Renoka Rashidi, because he passed away.
Mm, yeah. It's
Yeah,
really cool pictures, man.
I
Wow.
appreciate that. Yeah, we were trying to do something different.
How long it took you to do this? Like the writing it. Like well, I could show the reels.
An empty title if I don't rule it.
I see. You want it. The prize of all prizes. The Heartland. Hi, Father. The Old Kingdom. Why? Why the risk? Your domain. Your influence stretches far beyond the reach of mortal men. Why do men risk everything? Everything. When they can be at peace with what they have. I see. I see. I see. You want it. The prize of all prizes. The Heartland. Hi, Father. The Old Kingdom. Why? Why the risk? Your domain. Your influence stretches far beyond the reach of mortal men. Why do men risk everything? Everything. When they can be at peace with what they have.
Yeah, I mean, like, you ever thought about doing like an
Man, I like how you
animation
just
or
slid into a
something?
commercial break. That was dope. That was
Yeah, it's cool.
that man could have.
Yeah, I was prepared. I was prepared, man. I took like some of your reels, like on TikTok and
That,
stuff, because I was seeing like some. Yeah, yeah. I like the illustrations to it. It's like, wow,
that's dope.
fascinating.
I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, man. This is one more. You can check it out.
Zari versus the Nubians. And on the side of the Zari, most of the time, the story is told from the perspective of different characters. Hadaya, a warrior with some hidden motivations, the All-Father, the king with crazy ambitions, and Mahu, an albino who is of mysterious origins. We do not know where he comes from. What is he going to do next? We have no clue. But it's interesting, and many people have an interest in him. On the side of the Nubians, we have Umada, a man with tremendous reputation. We are scared, but the Zari are scared. They are shaking in their boots. I don't want to spoil the story so much, but this is what we have. Two armies, they want to kill each other, they want their land. But let's see where it's going.
Fight.
Yeah, I could see this like a manga, like on. Yeah, like something like I don't know, you ever seen Ninja Scroll?
Oh, I have not.
It's like it's a Japanese animation. It's about this dude. He's like a wandering
Okay.
samurai, and he has to fight these eight, devil warriors and stuff like that.
Okay.
And he fought this other dude from his past, and he has the power of reincarnation,
Oh,
where
bet.
like if you chop his head off, he screws it back on and
Oh,
stuff like that.
damn.
Yeah, and then
I want to check that.
he come across so he comes across this dude. His name is Dakwan, and he's like an agent type dude where he could camouflage himself like that, and he kind of guides the samurai. His name was Jubei and stuff, and then
Nice.
he comes and he helps this girl. Her name is Kageto, and she was like a ninja warrior, but her ninja team was killed by this monster where his body is just turned into stone, and he has like this boomerang spear and stuff, and he just like kills everybody in the first scene, like
That's
their whole body like half apart and all this crazy stuff like that. And so the girl like he rapes the girl, but little did he know the girl he had her girl contains like poison in her body and stuff like that.
damn.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how he got killed. And
It's
so,
dark.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to check
So
that one.
I'm like, yeah, I can imagine like in a Japanese version how this would look. It'd be off
Mhm.
the hook. Like, wow.
That's
You seen Shogun?
not yet. You're like the third person to tell me go watch Shogun. But I
Yeah,
heard it's good.
that's good. That's good. Check it
Uh,
out. Like check it out.
Tokyo.
You probably missed some episodes if you
How many?
got Hulu.
Okay,
Like like they like this they like I think this upcoming one is like the fourth episode.
gotcha. I'll do it tonight. I'll do it tonight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Someone
That's
from
pretty
that I
good.
thought Tokyo Crime, Tokyo something. Damn, something about a Tokyo show, and then Shogun,
Mm,
and then another one of my boys
mm,
said I should watch. I need to watch Succession. So those are three
yeah,
shows I'm behind on. So I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna catch up on them.
yeah. I mean, because this is like I brought it up because I mean it's epic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing this and it's like wow, it kind of like I could imagine like if it was like animated or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
you,
We'll
you,
see what goes. We'll see if it'll be
you
animated
ever
or some kind of live action. We'll see. We'll see if it makes sense.
You ever thought about, I don't know, you would like develop like a script or anything like that, or I don't know.
I do got one. So I had written like kind of. I don't even. Well, I guess I can say it. So I wrote like the future of what's happening in this version of the book, but it was too big. The scale was too big. It was like Dune, kind of like. And I know like
Mm.
when you're starting something out, you don't want something that massive. It's hard for people to get their teeth in it. So I wrote a story that happens before that, and that's what this book is. So the script, the one I was telling you about, that they're like, oh man, this is epic. That's that later of this version of the book. That's the later version before you start diving into kingdoms, and because this current book version is one of the kingdoms trying to invade Nubia. So that's what we're following right now. But after that, you get into Nubia and the politics and all that. I didn't want to just drown people in all that information, so I wanted to feed it to
Yeah,
them early, so it's more intimate. It's more tight. So yeah, I'm ready for it if it comes. That money better be right, but
yeah, yeah.
ready
I
for it.
mean, yeah. I mean, this I would say is better than Black Panther. I didn't read it, but I'm just seeing it. And I'm like looking at it like the like. I mean, it ain't to shit on Black Panther or nothing, but like the like I don't read Black Panther like that, but the movie it was like it was so. I didn't see the second one. I heard the second one.
Yeah,
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
yeah.
But you know,
So basically, and Paul from Black Comic Lords also mentioned this. So Ryan's a phenomenal filmmaker. So what he did with
yeah,
Black Panther is he pulled from a lot of these histories to ground it more, because the version in the comics was a little bit of a parody of African. It was like the Coming to America
no,
of you know what I'm saying, like Coming to America is a parody.
yeah,
So what he did, he made like with you know the regalness, and with Chadwick, what Chadwick did, all that he grounded it by pulling it from Yoruba culture and Igbo culture. So it's basically what my book actually is what he pulled from to in a fiction. Wakanda's not real, but Nubia is real. So it's kind of like what he modeled Wakanda after this great nation that, and I'm modeled. Nubia is that nation. So I can see what you mean by like it's better because it's like it's more real, grounded in the spiritualism,
yeah,
rather than like you know the superheroes and the suits and stuff like that. So I
yeah.
can get that. I'll take shit. I'll take it better than Black Panther. I'm not gonna argue with you. Shoot,
Yeah, like
I ain't gonna
I'm
argue with
seeing
you.
it because I mean, because Stan Lee and somebody else, they
Facts.
created, Black Panther and
Yeah.
stuff, and I get it, they probably was curious and an advanced African civilization and stuff like that and all that stuff, but the stuff that you telling me about, just getting the accurate information and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cause like the stuff I'm seeing, like and the stuff you telling me, like I don't even think if I go to the library, where would I even go? Like to get information like this.
I
That's
got
crazy.
a couple books. Stolen Legacy. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, man, I got there we go. I did research Black Civilization.
Right.
Um, that's a good one. But I mean, it's dense. It made sense for me because I was writing a book. But yeah, you're right. To kind of be fed that information in an entertaining way, without it feeling like a class or something. I think yeah, I agree. I think that that accurate information is so important because that stuff was like don't even touch the Egypt stuff. I don't even want to get into that with all those with
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
fighting over that. But and I think I always end up when I was making this, there was a lot of people from that region that were a little upset. I'm like, I'm not even talking about y'all. This is before
Yeah.
y'all. This is
Yeah.
before y'all, and they're kind of like, oh, that's true. I'm like, yeah, you can't argue with me because it's literally before your time. So really fascinating, and it helps you get out of the whole uh you know we was kings Egypt fighting shit, and just go to Nubia was yours, all that stuff was yours before all that. So there's never really any friction there once you talk about Nubia. It's when you start saying stuff like, oh, we're the first Egyptian and stuff like that, they start getting a little upset. But
Yeah.
when you talk Nubia and stuff, they can't say anything. Literally is like translated into like a black empire, pretty much, like literally. So they won't even argue about that. It's when it's the Egypt thing that gets sticky. So you'll find in my book and throughout my series, I don't even utter the word Egypt. It doesn't even come up.
But that's the thing. Like, I remember this YouTuber, she's from Egypt and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and she was saying that, what, Black Americans, they made that up about Egypt, Black people, like they were like, so, it was made up with Black people were like rulers of Egypt and stuff like that. And
nah,
there's another YouTuber. He was saying that they had they had like almost like diversities of people in Egypt. There were white people there, and there were maybe like black people there, but it wasn't just populated with black people and stuff
don't even
like
get
that.
caught up in it, bro. Don't even get caught up in it. It's really simple.
Yeah,
Well, Egypt translation directly is Greece. It's a Greek word. So you have to think about why would there be a Greek word on a country on the continent. So the Greeks had a name, just like Ethiopia. Ethiopia is also a Greek word. They have a name for that region. So when they came, after it was completely like the fighting that happened here is because people don't understand how much happens between thousands of years.
Right.
By the time the people that are really having friction over this are talking, that place was deserted. And you'll find that those regions, they like calling it, I don't like the word, but sub-Saharan Africa is what they call everything below pretty much the desert. All those regions are occupied by other ethnicities, mostly the parts that are desert. So the logical thing is migration. The land was dying, and the people migrated south. But they turned that logic into they were there the whole time, which is fine. I don't see any point in arguing it.
But
But
that's the thing. I see like these pictures of Nefertiti,
yeah,
and her face is brown skin, like
yeah,
like like ain't not it's not their complexion.
yeah.
Like
And
it's not.
honestly, and it's not even any point. Like even like you won't see that in the series. You won't see that pharaoh thing. I don't even use
Yeah.
that because in my research talking to Runoko Rashidi, he believed that was so. Yeah, so oh man, this is so sticky. He was saying how. So we got to think. We got to when you're talking about this, you have to try and think outside of what our mindset is right now. So if people had stumbled upon a kingdom before, it would probably be admiration. It would have started. It wouldn't have been like, oh, N-word, N-word, N-word. It would be admiration. If they had stumbled upon us at that state, it would be admiration. So it's very normal for when you admire another culture to change things in yours that kind of gives praise to them, especially if you see them in a godly manner. So now, over time, can that turn into envy and something else? Absolutely. It's human nature. And a very interesting thing I found, the thing that I pay attention to when it comes to stuff like this is language. So like the word pharaoh, there's a Mande culture. Mande is like around Mali and Togo area. In their culture, pharaoh is their god in their culture. So it's the god that he put his, I don't know if I can say this on channel, but he put his semen inside water, and that's how life became. It's their creation story in their culture, and it's Pharaoh, Pharaoh, and then you have Pharaoh the king. So you can think about how like language from this culture became a title in another culture. So you got to see in the regions and how things connect, because language doesn't lie. Because language, you have to pass it on. So language doesn't lie. So if you're noticing like this weird culture with the things and all that stuff, and it's only one culture and everyone surrounding it is different, then that's probably the imitating culture. So the golden spears and the hash over the shoulder, all that stuff's in Ghana, all that stuff's in Mali, all that stuff's under Egypt, all that stuff's around Egypt. They just don't do it in Egypt now. So you got to think of it that way. And a bigger part is Uganda. Uganda is they have a lake called Lake Victoria. It's actually Lake Nabule. That was the original name before they were invaded, and that's where the Nile actually runs from upwards. So like the if you're looking at the culture, it probably started from Uganda and went up into whatever got inspired. So it's interesting stuff. It's really interesting stuff. How
Yeah, I mean,
something can happen like I come to your house and I stomp my feet to clean my shoes off, and I do that for thousands of years, and now it becomes a culture. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that's the thing you got to think about, how something becomes a culture, and then you'll find that thing that the argument coming, it should show in other cultures that look like them, like further down. If it doesn't, the only thing that looks similar to what they do is Islam, and that's from the Middle East, and they all practice Islam. All of them practice Islam. But the other stuff, the Egyptian part of it that they're fascinated about is it all looks like it doesn't fit in the rest of their cultures, if that makes sense. But it fits in the rest of sub-Saharan culture. So that's the part where it gets sticky, and it's just they just care about the pyramids. And honestly, the pyramids were probably there by the time they got there anyway, because they're so old. So
Yeah, I've heard that the pyramids were built by another
oh
civilization.
my God, so old, so old.
Yeah,
Who knows what that? How many times has
yeah,
the Earth restarted? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, and a
yeah,
few people survived. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
How many times has that happened? So there's no point in looking for the origin of that. But as for the region, it's likely was inspired by Uganda and went up. And then when the dryness of the land and all that died out, they likely migrated back down to vegetate to more vegetation so they can freaking live and
Yeah.
hunt and everything. And then people came in after what it was deserted. It's the most common thing, but it gets sticky with religion and people. Like, I've had people message me, "Oh, you're trying to take away my legacy." I'm like, no one's taking nothing away, bro. Egypt's all you. It's all you. You can have it. No one's claiming
Mm,
that. So
mm,
so yeah, I don't see the point. I'm like, I focus on the cultures before it was named Egypt. It's a Greek name, so there's no point we should even try to lay claim to it. It's not even a native name anymore. So yeah, it's very interesting to unpack, and it can happen again. 1,000 years from now, they might say South Africans are native to South Africa. You know what I'm saying? And
mm.
they're Dutch. They're Dutch. Those are Dutch people. They speak Dutch. The Afrikaans language they created for South Africa is Dutch. It's like a broken form of Dutch. So
Mm.
1,000 years from now, and they find some European bones, they'll say they're from South Africa. It's just time. Time is the thing that makes everything confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
How 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 do you like have you been to like comic book conventions like a lot?
Yeah, not a lot. I've been to maybe three, five. I've been to five of them. I've been to ECBAC, which is the East Coast Black Age Comic Convention. That one's in Philadelphia. Love them.
Okay.
I've been to a few that's the only one I've been to out of state. The other ones I go to in
Oh,
Florida, Stingray. Um, which one did I go to recently? I went to one like a couple weeks ago that was in Fort Lauderdale. It was just a nice small one. I go to like the small ones in the area that I can just drive.
the small ones? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't
I
been to a
was
big.
thinking, oh, you never been to a big one?
No, not yet.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. Like, if you ever want to decide to go to New York Comic Con,
New York Comic
yeah,
Con.
it's lit.
That one.
Yeah,
Don't those get filled up like in minutes?
yeah. I know the venue and the venue is expensive and stuff like that. I know I'm crazy for asking you that, asking
Yeah, yeah.
you bringing
And
that up with
I'm down to
the
try
venue.
it because I'm new to the what to do, and it's also really sticky because I tried this. I'm so happy that I met the guy at ECBAC, the Philly convention, because I had first tried this as a floppy, so it was about 40 pages. And the guy's like, "Oh, what's this?" And he was looking at it. And he's like, "This needs a spine, and you need to make this a book. Like, don't go the floppy route." And I was like, "Oh, you know what? This guy might be onto something." Because I was having
Mm.
trouble. I'm like, man, the pacing and the writing. I'm like, I can't make this no 1, 2 issue 3. I can't do it. It's got to be a book.
Yeah.
So
How
so we
many volumes? Like,
what
is it volumes? Are there volumes?
exactly like I can sell like those four like they're 40, so I can sell them. Like I sell 10 of those. I'm at $500 already. So
Mm.
yeah, that made way more sense, and I wouldn't have known unless that guy told me because I'm new to all this, so I
Yeah.
didn't know. But the original was a floppy. Hold on, I might even have one somewhere.
Well, like a Superman comic book? That's what you mean?
So the original was like a floppy. It was like a 32 pages kind of book.
Oh, okay.
Now it's there we go. I'm gonna get one of these books. So that's on the camera. There we go. So that's the spine,
Yeah.
and now this is 132 pages. So
Okay.
it's a good read. It's a meaty read, and I feel like I don't have to rush into the next issue, the next one, because like you're gonna have to read this more than once. You feel me? So
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing it. It's like, wow, it look nice.
Yeah, it looked real nice. So and that was one of the things I'm like, man, if I sold this thing for $40, am I gonna feel like, is the person gonna feel like, man, that was a good $40? And it's been like that. I'm like, hell yeah. I'll prefer to do that. I prefer to do that than to make a flop. I don't know how to write. I'm gonna start practicing that, but I don't know how to
Yeah.
write episodic, where it's like you finish up an arc in like 20 pages and stuff. I like drawing things out and trying packing in a lot of story. So I'm gonna
Is there
start.
a
I'm
lot
gonna
of people?
find it out though.
Is there a lot of people? You get a lot of people being like receptive more on this?
Oh yeah, way more. And the thing that happens, and I've been trying to tell people, and I tell whoever I can, is that I get a lot of people outside of the comic community. So like a lot of my
Mm.
sales come from novel readers, like people that read
Yeah.
novels. Yeah, in fact, they're actually like usually not turned off, but they prefer this cover because this cover looks like a novel.
Yeah.
So when they get it, like, oh, good. So I make sure to pack up on these covers, and this is more for the comic readers because they like the nice covers. So I get way more sales from people that read like novels and books. So they're way more receptive, way more, because it's not a short attention span book. It's like it's like a book. You sit down and you get your coffee and you read it and you take it in. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sorry, I ain't read that.
Nah, I'm gonna get.
Like, wow.
I'm gonna get you one. I'm gonna hook you up. I'm gonna hook you up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because right now my right now my funds is kind of low, man. I owe the bank money and all this craziness, and
I hear you now. No, man, it's the same for everybody. I'm gonna get you one. I'm gonna get you one for sure.
yeah. Because because I know this. It's good to read like people's book
Yeah.
before like interview. Because I remember I was talking to another comic book writer. She had done like work with Spawn
Oh, wow.
and Wolverine, not Wolverine, Daredevil and stuff. The
Uh,
woman, the female Daredevil and stuff like that. And I just discovered her on Instagram, and so I reached out and talked to her, and so like before we started like going live and stuff, so she was like, "Have you read my book? Have you ever read my work?" And I was like, "Nah." What caught my attention was your woman writer. I never seen like too many
woman
female
writer.
comic book writers as a woman like
But
that. She gave me this look like, huh? So. Yeah, I was being real. Like, I mean, like
oh no.
you don't see I mean, of course, there's a lot of women out there,
No,
have got, some work,
it's
some
rare,
good
but it's
work.
her fault. That's not. If anything, that's a plus for her. It is rare for
Yeah.
the big who's to have women writers. It's very rare.
Yeah, because you don't there's not no famous one that stands out, and
Facts.
I couldn't find like no access of a books and stuff like that. I would have to go to like a comic book store like and it's not that close to me like that.
I feel you. I
But
feel you.
I can I could walk there. But
Yeah.
yeah, like other than that, I never really heard of her like that. But I mean, she was cool. We was talking a bit and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But but I don't know. I just like see people like you and stuff, and I'm like, wow, okay, let me check this out. And I just like, hey, what's this stuff about? They very they're able to tell me and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been like that.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's
I would buy their comics. Like I'm sorry to cut you. I would buy their stuff like after the interview. That's the crazy
that.
shit.
I got you. Exactly. Exactly. No, and it's good because it's like, you get to chop it up a little bit outside of the story of the book because it's going,
Yeah,
especially mine. You're gonna have questions.
yeah,
You're gonna have
yeah.
questions.
Yeah. Like I'm seeing it. I'm like, wow. Like I'm looking at this, and it's on Instagram too. And I'm looking at the horses in the sky and all this shit. I'm like, whoa. It's like some like Pegasus, like African Pegasus or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember it was this movie. It was called the Northerner. It's not from Africa, but it's somewhere in the Celtic. You
North.
know,
Yeah, I watched that.
yeah, yeah. That movie was deep, like in the ending. But yeah, that movie was something else.
Hmm.
At the ending, where forgive me if nobody ain't seen the movie, but the what's the name of the Valkyrie picked them up and stuff
Hmm.
like that. That
Yeah,
was a powerful ending,
it
man. Like
was.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Like
good
no,
movie. That was part
I
of the
don't,
inspiration because
yeah,
I think I was watching. I had written this, but I watched Vikings, right?
yeah.
That was a good show. And like within that same year, um, shoot, what was it called? Oh no! What was it called? Last Kingdom on Netflix. Last
Okay,
Kingdom dropped. I'm like, damn, okay. Vikings, which is about the Vikings, and the Last Kingdom is still about the Vikings, but the Last Kingdom is about the how the Vikings and the what's it, whatever the white people, the Vikings, and then the other white people um wanted to create England, right? So I'm like, oh, bet, okay, so this is Vikings, Last Kingdom, right? And then the Northmen job. I'm like, bro, this is the fourth Viking thing in like 2 years.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this is the same Viking. Like, it's still the same culture. It's still all the like the Last Kingdom, the Northmen.
right,
It's all the Vikings. They're all the Vikings.
right,
The Northmen's not about the formation of England, but it's still about the Vikings. And then,
right.
bro, like, how y'all don't want to touch Africa at all? Like, come on, like there's some stuff that we haven't even touched at all that would be
Yeah,
so interesting for people to see for the first time. And I'm like, bro, like Viking, like just 4 times in like two
right,
years of the same kind of concept. I'm
yeah.
like, man, let me go. I'm about to go write this, and that
Well,
was
I don't know. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying like I don't know. Maybe they're not really in tune in Africa like that. They're more like
so. I think it's two things. I think who's gonna do it because like Black Panther was a Hail Mary. Like
yeah,
if Coogler wasn't on that would not have gone that well. Because what happened with Black Panther
right,
is that Africans were into it. As much as it was fiction, they were into it. So Coming to America 2 or shit, what other thing did they try to make? They tried to make something else. Whatever. It didn't work. So
yeah,
it's intimidating. Is it gonna bomb, right? Um and then you got to do it right. That's the two things. Like it's
yeah,
intimidating, but you got to do it
yeah,
right. You can't play around with that because they will just push it to the side. Like the Woman King.
yeah.
Uh, I watched the. I like.
How was that? Did you see that?
I watched that. It was good. It was pretty good. It was little things, but the same thing I thought. Like they didn't do that. They didn't look into this shit. They didn't look into the shit properly. So like one big thing they did that was awful is so Yoruba. I'm from the Yoruba tribe. It's like is it the biggest? It's like one of the biggest tribes in Nigeria. They're from the Oyo Empire. So Oyo is a state. It's a massive state. The city is the biggest city on the continent. It's called Ibadan. So what they did in that, instead of making it nuance, like, is they made Oyo the bad guys, and so the guys like Oyo Empire, like those people are real. Those are real people. And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna kill and sell everybody, bro. What are you doing? You can't do that. You can't say that. Like we're Yoruba. You can't like so. So no Yoruba people are gonna carry your shit. Forget that. That's not happening. So and Yorubas are the ones that are mostly here. They're mostly Yoruba people here.
Yeah,
So that's not going nowhere. But and that's what I mean. Like, go talk to somebody. Like somebody would have told you, like, oh, you're gonna make the whole all your empire the bad guy, huh? Don't do it, Viola. Don't do it. Don't do it, Annalise. Don't do it, girl. Well,
yeah,
abort mission. They should have made it more nuanced. There's plenty of reasons with the slavery thing why it got out of hand. A lot of time, there's really interesting stuff. Like, one guy said that they would want to put someone to death, and somebody will help them escape, but they'll sell them into slavery to help them escape, right? So when they look for the person that they're putting to death, they're like, oh, what happened? Oh, the god swallowed him. Oh no! So they're playing into like, so everyone believed that it was the gods that swallowed them, but they sold homeboy to slavery. And the biggest problem was that people that were on the continent didn't know what they were doing to the slaves. They thought, because we have servitude in Africa. You come, you might send your, like, if I'm a famous clockmaker, right? And you want your son to learn a skill, I'll give you some bread to let me have your son as an apprentice for servitude. And when he's like of age, he'll clean, he'll cook, he'll do all that, like he's a slave, but he's human. We're not gonna like rape him, and you know what I'm saying? He's not picking cotton, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. Right. So when they keep saying things like Africans sold people, they didn't know what people were doing to them, because there wasn't FaceTime and phones, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had no clue what was being done to them. In fact, there's this the current president of Nigeria, his mom was a famous like market woman, like she was really famous. And she was around during the slave trade part. She sold some slaves too, but word got back to her that what they were doing, and she cut it. She banned them from the area. So but it was that, and then there's war. So like, if two wars are happening to kingdoms, when they capture the people, they'll sell them. They'll sell the rest of them. But again, they didn't know the level of what there was being done to them. They just figured, oh, they're going to a new world. They'll work their way out and they'll start a new life. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're thinking. We weren't thinking on the level of like making mothers bang their sons to produce more offspring. That's why who thinks like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're not even. It's like evil to even think to that level. So so that's a lot of. It's really tricky. It's trickier than just evil. This evil empire sold people. It's too sticky to just go with that. To try and make it.
Because I was hearing, not to cut you off, but I was hearing like, like it wasn't accurate, that movie The Woman King, and they were saying that the tribe that Viola Davis was portraying, they was selling people and
It
stuff,
was
and
something.
selling them to the white
Yep.
people and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Because
like,
they'd walk the slaves like far from wherever they're meeting, and then pack them onto the ships. Nobody knows what happened after that. Nobody
yeah,
knows. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's like, oh, okay, well, they're not thinking about that, and they weren't thinking like raping, and like, it's kind of wild. Like, they weren't thinking like that, and it's not like they were naive. It's just, why would you fly all this way why would you send a ship this way to pick up a bunch of people to breed them? And it's just kind of weird. You know what I mean? You got to think of like what they were thinking, because they sell people among their people, like to this day, but it's like a servitude. So like, a family doesn't have money to keep up with, and then you're wealthy, they'll sell you their child for you to take care of the child, and like, but you're a worker still, but you're gonna put that child in school, you're gonna feed that child, they got a house, and they're not gonna be a slave forever. So like, that's the other part. Like, they'll be a slave, and then their children are slaves, and then like, what? It's crazy. Like, from their mind, it's like they weren't even thinking like that. So yeah, it was a little inaccurate, especially for like being the first version of that movie. It would have been better if they did a little more research to make sure that they're on point.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of conservatives, like Black Americans, they feel like, Africans played a part in slavery as well too.
Yeah.
They just blaming, the white man, about, slavery and stuff. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's sticky. It's sticky because there's emotions and all that. I will say I would like to see more, like Ghana's doing it, like an apology. Like, you didn't know. Okay, great. You didn't know, but
Yeah,
now that you know, what are you doing to fix it? You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to see countries. A lot of them are doing it. They'll do no visa. You can stay. You get citizenship, but I like to see more. I like to see more. Like, I like what the Jews do, where they fly Jewish people from here to Israel for free.
yeah.
I'd like to see stuff like that, but But yeah, it's stickier than just Africans sold people to slavery. It's obviously it's way stickier because they sold kings sometimes. They sold princes. Like that shit don't make no
Yeah.
sense. They didn't know. They didn't know that that's what they were doing. So really sticky.
How do you see like a brighter future for Africa or like
Oh yeah,
any?
I do. I do. I think um, this generation is like kind of fed up. Like these are the people that are going to change stuff because uh, our biggest issue was our at least I can speak for Nigeria mostly is the big thing that happened in Nigeria was in the 1960s. So we have tribalism, which is kind of like I don't know how to describe it. Kind of like East Coast and South, I guess, or not West because there's no West because like upper east like north like New York. They used to think that the South were like dumb, right? Kind of like Southern twang, and then the South thinks the North are kind of like uppity. Am I right? Am I?
Uh, I mean, I don't know too much like that, but I know in hip hop, I mean, it was like at one point, you know, East Coast didn't really accept the South like that, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. So I guess
mostly like growing up, I would hear that all the
yeah.
time with, you
Because
know, the people that changed that was Outkast and T.I. and all that stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah.
So something like that. So the kind of a tribalism between these three big parties. So our Northerners
Oh,
are.
somebody said, I'm sorry to cut you off. Somebody said, yeah, you
You
up
say
north, people are up low.
that?
Yeah. All the way is
Yeah.
George
North was
Page.
uppity. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause the North got like freed first, right? So like they were
yeah,
intellectuals, and the South was in slavery for a lot longer. So it makes sense that they
right.
would think that. I remember I watched this video. Oh man, it's a messed up video. It's an old video of like wealthy like black people, and they're talking about how they were gonna have an influx of Southern people that were just freed, and the wealthy folks
Mm,
were scared. They were like of other black folks, and I'm like, damn,
mm.
that's so interesting because that's like tribal. It's tribal. That's just tribalism.
Yeah.
Have a similar thing in Nigeria where the Northerners, they're the most of the continent. They're about like 50%. Um, there's a lot of factors to that. They're really religious. They have like young. They marry young. They're considered not. Let me not offend any Nigerians. They're considered not to be as educated as the other two. Just it's not like that anymore. But that's what it was at that time. So that's the Northerners, and they make up the most of the population. Then you have the Westerners. That's the Yorubas. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like Yorubas are in the middle, but I feel like other
Mm.
tribes will say something about Yorubas that I don't know. I agree. I don't know. But and then the Easterners. The Easterners have the oil. So the oil is what Nigeria's the lifeblood of that country. So they feel like the Easterners, which is like this is like the Igbo tribe, they feel like they run the country better under them, right? So, which is very possible. Again, not offending, very, very possible. They haven't won yet. They've never ran the country yet. So they always feel like that were like the other tribes are hating on them.
Mm.
So in the 60s, there was a civil war. And it sucks because like I watched all this when I was writing O Kingdom Come. And I'm like, man, they destroyed us, man, because Nigeria was like on the cusp of becoming like a superpower. And then this
Mm.
shit happens. Like we were like China, like population wise, we're right there with America's. Like we're 250 million. America's like 260 or something. We're right there. Like but in 5 years, because they fucking over there. They're giving birth. So they were right on the cusp of becoming a superpower. And in the 60s, there was a civil war. And it sucks because these guys that were in charge of this thing were 25, bro. 25 years
Mm.
old, leading these tribes against each other. So in hindsight, obviously it was foreign. It was puppeteered by foreigners. It was, but in the moment, they're fighting and killing each other. And it's these tribes that were killing each other, and they kind of haven't recovered from that. The older people haven't recovered. So our current presidents, they're all from that era.
Mhm.
They're the ones that have that thing. So us, the younger generation, we don't have that. We're marrying the other tribes. We say what's up. So it's kind of like it kind of worked its way out. We don't have that same Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa thing. We don't got it. So it took a long time because this is 2024, and that was the 60s. So you're talking about 60 years of that dumb shit that held the country back. So I do see a bright future for Africa, because these new African Americans too, we kind of like are fed up with like the way the country was run. Even here, like we always say, like how the boomers ruined shit for everybody. You know what I'm saying? They ruined it they didn't leave nothing for the rest of us. So I do think so. I think it'll be this generation or the next one that will bring it up for sure.
Yeah, let's hope to see, man. I mean, like last night I heard something crazy. This guy, he was saying certain things is gonna happen. Like he was talking about there was gonna be a famine coming, and in years to come and stuff like that.
Oh man.
And he was saying um that Russia and China, they planning something against United States. And what they did is they created like this missile where it's an electromagnetic
Oh boy.
pulse where they'll go in space, and it'll it'll interfere with the United States satellites, and it'll cause like a blackout, and like for 365 days
Oh my
people
God.
gonna be starved, and gangs is gonna come out. Yeah, I was saying, I'm hearing this shit, like he's saying this stuff, and I'm like, it, I mean, it could happen,
It could happen.
but he kept like, because he was saying that he was offering like certain stuff about how people can survive. Like one of it is like farming and all this stuff like that, and type of survival skills, but it costs something. It like his book said it costs like $67 and stuff like that. And it's like and then you get an extra one, like it's like $100 and stuff.
I'm
And that's
talking.
the thing. Why don't you give it free or something? Then you buy a free one and
Yeah.
then pay for it though. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You
Yeah.
know. But I'm not. I ain't gonna like like go on like be blind about it, because
Yeah.
I've been told about that stuff like that is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the thing he was saying, he's breaking it down like the U.S. They gonna and he wasn't black neither. He was saying this stuff too.
but yeah,
He
that's
was in the service also too. He was like, he was a
oh
cop, and then he
okay.
was a Marine and all that
Oh
stuff. Not a
yeah.
Marine, but he is in the military.
Yeah, I mean Russia and China being allies alone. That's something will
Yeah,
happen. Something will happen eventually. Um,
yeah,
the I mean, if you launch a nuclear weapon, that it will automatically cause an electrical magnetic pulse by
yeah.
default because of the way it works. So yeah, man. I mean, be prepared. I go to Nigeria and I'm back a lot. So definitely be prepared. Definitely be prepared. You don't want to be caught in here, Walking Dead style.
Yeah,
Walking
yeah,
Dead out
yo,
here. You should
yeah.
definitely be prepared no matter what. Um,
I ain't want me to go off topic, but for some reason it's like, because like they look at Africa as a poor country and stuff like that, and I'm just like looking at it like maybe eventually, who knows, United States might be like that too.
yeah, it can happen.
They.
Have you been to
Yeah,
Paris? Have you been to Paris lately? That place is a dump now.
yeah.
The dump. All the Eiffel Tower, just a bunch of homeless folks. It's a
Oh
dump.
wow.
They're not taking care of their people, and we don't take care of your people, they eat you eventually.
Yeah,
So, um,
yeah,
but yeah, that could anything like that can happen. And all kingdoms have to fall at some point. So, um, Russia fell, you know. So yeah, that could definitely happen. The only thing when it comes to discussions like that, the only thing I always don't always agree with is I know people at a certain level are not that organized. So like,
Right.
so theories, whenever it gets to theories like that, I'm like, nah. Anything that takes a lot of like, or like COVID, like that shit, they didn't plan that. They didn't plan for that to happen. It almost looks, because sometimes people are more scared that something happened and there was no plan, rather than there's some evil person pulling the strings, because it lets you feel like there's control. And the idea that nobody controlled that and it just happened is more scary than.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've heard that it was a biochemical weapon that to
Oh,
kind of
no,
knock
for
the
sure. No,
economy
I'm
off.
not saying that. I'm not saying that wasn't the cause of it. I'm saying that like there
Oh,
was stuff that like they planned for it to leak into the states and stuff like that.
yeah,
They had mad people die too.
yeah.
They had mad casualties. So no. A chemical weapon that got out for sure, possibly. Was it like some epic plan to get COVID into the states? I don't think so. I find that people typically are not, when the big
Organized.
theories, they're not really that, they're not able to be that control. Like, people aren't that smart, if that makes sense.
Right.
They're smart
Yeah,
people,
I understand.
but on a large scale, some people fuck up a lot. Fuck up a lot,
Yeah.
especially in government. People fuck up a lot. So you to pull off stuff like that, it needs to be perfect, and I haven't seen that exist. Um, but yeah, chemical weapon, I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely think
Yeah,
so.
I don't want to talk too much about that because
Uh-oh,
YouTube, like,
YouTube's gonna get.
yeah. But with the book, man, like,
I appreciate that.
this is like really amazing, man. Like the way, yeah, man.
I appreciate
Like I'm looking at the illustrations to it. It's wow. I just had to talk to you, man. Like,
I appreciate you, bro.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, any like did I leave anything out? Like well, how long did I ask you this? Like, how long did it take you to kind of write this?
You did. So I had been writing it for years. To
Yeah,
format that into a script for the colorist and for the artist,
yeah.
like per page, it didn't take that long. Like a day every page. I would change the page. So now, and the book is 132 pages, so maybe like 2-3 months, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Do you have any projects like you working on but outside of this?
I am. I'm working on. I don't know if you look into me, I've kind of been coined the anti superhero guy. Um,
Okay.
uh, so I'm kind of working on a project about that. It's called Shatas. And I'm finishing. It's going to be a collaborative project because I want, after doing this, I'm like, man, I want to work with people more. I want like
Mm.
other visions. So I'm working on a project called Shatas. That's going to be interesting. It's a play on the superhero genre. Because I feel like the stuff that's in right now is like Invincible and The Boys. So I wanted to do
Yeah.
like a version of that. So that's going to be my next project after this.
Yeah, man. Well, I wish you the best, man.
Appreciate it, man.
And I'm gonna check this out
Yeah,
because this
hit me
is
up.
wow, this is
I'll
interesting.
make sure you get like
Yeah,
a poster or something with it.
yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to chat with you.
All right, man. Anytime, bro. Anytime. And message me anytime. I'd love to come back on.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks again.
All right, boss.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See y'all the next time.
Yes, sir.